Alright, so this is a how-to video on the Treatlife Smart Dimmer Switch. Now this is not a three-way switch. It does come with a 4-pack of dimmer switches, and the switches like this. And so we're gonna get into this video. So with these switches, you've got this protective tape for the wires. I'm gonna take that off. And my lighting is a little dark because obviously I'm working on this switch, so the light's out. So on the back of your switch, if this is a three-way switch, there will be another red traveler wire, but there's not. So that's how you know that this is just a single pole switch. So you have your neutral, which is the white wire, your black, which is your hot, your red, which is the switch the wire you're gonna wire to your switch, or excuse me, to your light, and then of course your green, which is your ground. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do, and I'm actually switching this out from a existing Treatlife switch I have. This is just a regular smart switch. This switch is actually a three-way switch, but I only used it for a single because I don't have a big enough room to make it a three-way. So in the back of your, and this is going to be pretty simple, on the back of your switch in your box, you're going to have a few different kind of wires. You're going to have a hot, which is a black wire. You're going to have, depending on your box size, and I have a double gang box, so I have two switches in this box. So I'm going to have a couple of different wires than you may have if you have a single gang. But you should have a neutral, a power, another neutral, and another switch, another power cord that goes. So what you're going to do is you have this black wire. Now notice on my old Treatlife switch, you got the same as the new one that I'm putting in the dimmer. You've got your black, your white neutral, your red, and your green. So your red is going to go to your switch, your green is going to go to your ground wire, which is always the bare copper wire, which is back here. Now like I said, this is a double gang box, so originally I had two switches in here that went to my cam lights and the other went to my main chandelier. But I ended up putting them both on one switch and making the other a dummy switch. So I'm going to show you how this works. So basically I have my power in. This is the hot. So this hot is going to always go to your black wire on your switch. Same as with the dimmer switch. So you see that black back there? You're going to find your hot and you're going to put it to that black. Next, normally on switches you won't connect your neutrals. You'll connect your neutral from your power to the neutral to the light. So for instance, if it was a normal switch, I would put this neutral, you see how that's coming from one wire, I will put that neutral and connect it to that light. Or in my case, I've got a couple lights, so I would connect all the neutrals together, all the white wires together. But in this case, since it's a smart switch, it has a brain, it has a computer, so you have to connect the white wire, the white neutral, to your neutral in your box. So for this video, I'm disconnecting this neutral because I won't need it anymore. Disconnecting, and we're going to disconnect my power. And what I recommend is while you're working on this, put a wire nut on your power. You don't want that to touch anything while you're touching something else, because then you'll get a little shock. I've been there, done that. I'm gonna disconnect my, basically these are travelers. So you see those two black wires there? These have no power to them until this is connected to the switch and those are connected to the switch. So basically, when the switch is cut on, it powers the switch, which powers the lights. And I have two lights. That's why there's two blacks here. I have my cam lights and I have my chandelier, which in this room, I'm making these all go to one switch. So right now we have our power, our neutral, and our lights. Those are the ones we need, and then our ground, which I'm going to unscrew here. As long as your power is screwed in, everything else is fine. You won't get shocked. As long as your power has a wire nut on it, you're fine. Now, we're going to take, I'm going to put this in the case so I can work while I do this. 2 seconds. Alright, so what we're doing now, we're going to take this switch, and this is the top side, this is the bottom. So your dimmer buttons, which is a plus and minus. Plus minus, and then this is of course your power button. So like I said, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my black and go ahead and get that out of the way. Once I have this black connected and I put the wire nut on it, we're going to be just fine. Alright, and we won't get shocked, which is what we want to avoid. So what I'm going to do is, right now we have a little bit of wire. See, it's just a little bit of wire outside of the sleeve. We're gonna take a little bit more of that sleeve off so we have enough to go into that wire nut. So boom, and I just used my my Klein's tool wire strippers for that, and you take that wire out, and now you got a little bit more to play with. Now I'll take this, make sure nothing else is touching. I'll take this to the power, and then I'll twist that on and go ahead and put that wire nut on. And if anybody who knows a little bit about electrical, this is pretty simple. But like I said, if you don't know anything about electrical, I would get somebody who has dealt with it a little bit, just so you don't shock yourself or rewire something you weren't supposed to. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and connect my neutrals together, because I want to go ahead and get that out of the way. So in my case, I've got a couple different neutrals going together, so I'm going to use a bigger wire nut, and I'm going to cap that off. So that's done. Like I said, it's pretty easy if you know anything about electrical. So that's done. Now my neutral's done and my hot's done. The next thing I'm gonna do, in each of these wires, I'm taking and I'm stripping a little bit back with my wire strippers so that I know I've got enough of the wire showing to use the wire nut. So on this one, this is my red traveler, or this is your load side. Your load side is what goes to the light. So your line side comes from the panel, which that's where your hot comes from. So that's what your power is coming from. Then you got your red, which is going to the load side. Your load side is everything going to the light, your lights. And then you got your neutral and your ground. So I'm putting my load side in, and the light won't come on because it's a smart switch and I haven't programmed it yet. That'll be our next step. And now my load side is complete. So now I've got my power, my neutral, my load all connected to the switch. And if I click the button, you see the light, you can tell the light's coming on. You see that? But we haven't programmed it yet, so it's not gonna function properly with the app until we program it. And the last but not least, the ground wire, which is your green wire. Now your setup in your box may be a little bit different than mine, just because, you know, it depends on what you have. You may have a plug connected to your switch, or you might have several lights on your switch, or you might only have one light. So, you know, there's different scenarios for this. But the main point is, make sure your black wire goes to your hot, your white wire goes to your neutral, and the red wire goes to the black wire that is going to your light. Or it could be a red wire, depending on the electrician that did the work. And then, so what I'm gonna do is put these back. I'm gonna bend them a little bit so they'll fold back into the box. It gives me plenty of room. Same with my neutral. Same with my load side. Same with my ground. And then we'll put our switch in. Now, if you want to see how I program these switches, head over to my YouTube channel and take a look at the video how to program your Treatlife light switches. Thanks for watching.